Yeah.
Okay, what? Like the way he said that. Like
I remember I was just putting on my
hello.
tefillin, Yik, and this guy next to me, who was a Yerushalmi, he looked at me, we hadn't said anything, but he looked at me and said, "Are you a convert?" He could just tell.
That's the worst question
you
could
just tell because, the way I guess I was treating my tefillin. He's just like, "You're a convert," because they weren't on, exactly right, and I wasn't too cut up about it.
All right, folks. One of the 613 mitzvahs in the Torah is that you're not allowed to two things. You're not allowed to remind a convert of his past, and you're supposed to love the convert and treat them extra special and not remind them of their past, not make them feel uncomfortable. So to go up to a convert and say, "Are you a convert?" shows them a disrespect, if that's true that they are, and it reminds them of their past. So what the fuck is he asking that for? You should have said, "I don't know if I'm a convert or not, but you're an asshole." That's what I would have answered the guy. "You're an asshole, and you and your Rishalmi get up, you win gay Pride Week, dress up day, but you're an asshole because you're not following the Torah, right?" So there's that. So I went off on it a couple things. I wrote a note last week on Facebook. I said I quoted the Chavetz Chaim. I broke it down in English. I quoted the English book, right? And I said, you're not allowed to ask somebody if they're a BT. You're not allowed to say so and so's a BT. So and so went to a BT yeshiva. So and so's a Baal Tshuva. That's a bunch of Baal Tshuvas over there. You're not allowed to say that. That goes against, that's Lashon Hora.
I've noticed a lot of people they're ashamed to say where they went to yeshiva because everyone knows they're a BT.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to say that. Where you went to yeshiva is nobody's fucking business. If you're a BT or not, or a convert or not, is nobody's fucking business. Where did your parents from, right? Okay, because this is my favorite one. Where do your parents? Where did you grow up? And what they really want to know, it's a covert way of asking you. Did your parents Did you grow up? Did your parents live in a place where there's frummies or not? Because if they grew up in a place where there's no frummies, then I'm going to assume that you are Baal Tshuva because you grew up secular, right? And if they say, "Oh, well, my parents grew up, I grew up in Flatbush or I grew up in Muncie," then they can hit you with the next question: where do you daven? Yesterday, I don't have much interaction with other people because I don't. I'm a hermit, I suffer from what's that word? Agoraphobia. So I'm in the house basically most of the time, right? So I happened to have conversations yesterday with two people who are Jews. I had one in the market. I went to Smart and Final, and I bumped into a Jew there in Smart and Final, and he didn't know who I was, which means he's not a viewer. Okay, which I can talk about him. So I bumped into him in the aisle, and we were talking about pans. I was buying pans. And you get friendly with the guy, and within 5 minutes, boom! Where do you daven? And I was like, "I'll see you later. I have to wait for the something on aisle 3." And I just left. And then later on in the day, I bumped into a neighbor. We were just talking. And within 3 minutes, it was "Which Beis Knesset do you go to?" I'm just
The other thing we often ask is, "Have you ever sucked a cock?" And if you ever say, "Oh, I did it once," and then you say you're a cocksucker, and it's not true. Just because you did it once does not make you a cocksucker.
Okay, Levi, you just ruined the show. You just ruined the show. You know why? Because they're going to think we're gay now. Everybody's going to be talking about us, the two gay guys doing the show. Way to fucking label ourselves. Way to go. Why don't you just say we're Baal Tshuvas and Gers, and we suck cock for a living? Right?
That's so
go ahead and say it, Levi. That's what,
Just because you've done it once
D-Medic
became free.
The biggest LOL that he's had, right?
Just because...
Biggest LOL. Look, all caps. Raps is pulling down the house now.
Just because you did this before you became frum does not define you as that's how you are. You might have just been experimenting. And also, it really helps to be congruent. It really makes life a lot easier if you can just answer these questions.
I'm funding the show. You can do anything you want. I'm funding this goddamn show.
So it just makes life a lot easier if you can answer these questions without batting an eye. You can say, "Yeah, I daven at Yik. I grew up in Brooklyn," or if you can just answer any and all of these intrusive questions, like why have you never married, do you want kids,
Right, because when you
it's
have
easier if you have an answer that you can just give and like without your face twitching, or
okay, well, watch. Ask me these questions. Ask me. Go ahead.
So where'd you grow up?
Where I grew up is a private matter. I don't discuss private matters with complete strangers.
Where do you daven?
Prayer is a private matter. I don't discuss personal matters with complete strangers.
Who gave you smika?
Where I learned and who my rabbanim were are a private matter. I don't discuss personal matters with complete strangers.
Have you ever sucked a guy?
Who I've sucked. Okay.
This is a private matter and you don't discuss that with strangers.
That's right. You got D-Mac, big LOL. See, he loves us. All right. All right, let's move on to that.
So it just makes your life a lot easier if you can answer those questions. It helps you do business.
Right. Me and Levy have a problem. We're hiding shit, right? Because I don't really want to talk about where I daven.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier if you don't have to hide these things.
Yeah, because I'm in Smart and Funnel. The guy asked me what he daven. You know what I really answered? I said, I daven in Los Angeles. That's what I said to the guy.
Because that immediately, then he immediately knows you're a freak.
Yeah.
Because like any normal froomie would say, I daven here.
Yeah, I daven here, I daven there. I
as a
daven in my
froomie-
house because I got agoraphobia.
As
Do you know how huge it was for me to get out of the house to buy these fucking pants today? And you're ruining it, dude. You're ruining it. Just because of you, I'm not going to come out of my house for another 30 days. Asshole.
To be a froomie means to be comfortable living with community, and living with community means that people know your business. And so that's being part of, this is walking the walk of Torah. You just, if you can't just give a reaction without even thinking, without even blinking,
Right.
without any hesitation.
You just said that. You
As
just
soon
said
as you
it.
start hesitating or blinking or twitching, you're sunk. They immediately know you're a freak.
Okay, Levy's thing that he is hiding, the thing that Levy's hiding is not the part about him being a convert. He's not hiding that. The thing that Levy's hiding is the fact that he's got a blog that probably ridicules the person who's talking to him and has named him and he's libeled the guy and slandered him. That's what Levy is hiding.
I remember I ran into this guy from Aish. I was walking home from Shul. I was carrying a thing from the Happy Minyan, and I was walking home and I started talking to this guy. And Shem Aish Torah, it's an outreach shul. I says, "Oh, come over for lunch."
Right.
So I come over for lunch, and I see all these people there who knew me from Aish Torah before I got kicked out. And I'm sure they all know I've been kicked out, but they don't immediately tell the host because it wouldn't work. They're not going to be rude. But so one guy immediately says to me, "Oh, what's your blog again?" And I say, "Oh, LukeFord.net." Then the host immediately turns and goes, "Oh, you're Luke Ford," because I'd introduced myself as Levi Ben Abraham.
Get out of the house. You up till then you've been like this star of the table. And then all of
That
a sudden,
happens a lot. Whenever
get
I
out.
introduce myself as Levi, they think it's because I'm trying to hide that I'm Luke Ford. And they also think that the reason I grew the beard was to hide that I'm Luke Ford.
Ah, that's a good one. Brandon asked, what do you discuss with complete strangers? And I'm glad you
In Orthodox Judaism, we discuss everything.
Well, that's the thing. You can, when you're in the aisle of Smart and Final, you can say, like, where's the fucking sponges, right? That's something you can discuss. You don't need to know where I pray to ask that, to have that conversation. Or like you said, we can discuss a blot of Gomorrah or something like that. You can bring that up. You go like, hey, what does the Torah say about, Shavuos? Are we allowed to have a pan? And do you have to have a... You can talk about halachas. That, I was buying pans to cook in dairy things in the oven, right? These are great conversation pieces. Oral Torah, we can talk about that. No, we got to know where I pray.
It's also okay to ask, did you see the shiksa in last month's Playboy?
You could go there. So these are the kind of things. Asking a person where they pray is not necessary, right? Asking them if they're Baal Tshuva is mamish lashon hora. You're not allowed to. It goes against the Torah. But even asking a person where they pray, why are you gaining? Why are you being nosy? Why are you asking people awkward questions? Why aren't you married? Where are your kids? You know what? If someone really believes in God, then they know, if they follow Torah, that God gives you your other half, your Besheret, in the right time. So the obvious answer is, it's not the right time according to God. That's all you have to say. Why are you asking a question? If you really know Torah, you know that the reason why the person's not married is that God hasn't decided it wasn't the right time for them. So why are you asking? you know, it's not like a person like forgot to do it. It's like, ah, shit. You know, I got out of bed, I got dressed, I went to work, and I forgot to get married.